Woodturners, Captain Eddie here. Welcome to my shop. We're getting into another phase of Woodturning 101. It's a series I put together about beginning woodturners. Now please catch that, beginning woodturners. If you're just getting started, I'm putting this series together to explain some things that you may need to know before you go out and spend too much money or just make a mistake. So I'll explain things as slow as I can go and as detailed as I can to help you out. And if I miss anything, go ahead and drop me a note. But send it to my email address where I can send you back a good reply. The comments section under the videos is not always the best place for me to put the replies. And speaking of comments, if you don't have anything nice to say, you know what Mama used to say. If you disagree with my numbers or my calculations or whatever, these are all my opinion. Don't throw a bunch of stuff out there to confuse guys. The only way for me to get rid of that is to delete the video and reload it again. Not real fair. Now, another thing. I had some fellows ask me about the Blackhawk. Now, I do make this sharpening device. I manufacture this. There are some aspects of it that are totally unique to it and not copied anywhere else. The gauge, the AccuSet, the two baskets, all that. Now, if you'd like to look at what it is, the product, go to my website right here, eddiecastelin.com, and take a look at it. And for you international viewers, yeah, you guys that have to swim a long ways to get here, yeah, if you'd like one, I designed one specially for you called the International. Now, it's the components you need to build one of these, but because I don't supply the long bars, you supply wood for that, I'll supply everything else. You can save up to $25 on shipping. So I can sell you a Blackhawk International and ship it to you, direct to you, for less than I sell, or exact same money that I sell the Blackhawk locally without shipping. It's a heck of a deal. And if you have access to the materials, you can make them out of metal if you want. But it's an opportunity for you to save a few bucks if you like to have one of these sharpening jigs. And I give you, it's a jig and a rake. I give you all the pieces you need. Now, let's talk about today's project. I don't need the Blackhawk for today's project. We're going to put that out the way. Hopefully this time I won't drop it on the floor. We're going to get into some specialty tools. Especially because everybody thinks about turning gouges. Bowl gouge, roughing gouge, Ellsworth gouge, fingernail gouge, detail gouge, this gouge, that gouge, here a gouge, there a gouge. Alright, but we also need other tools. So I have one that I bought a year or two ago, actually 5 years ago, and it's called a multi-tool. Now, I went ahead and got the wipe dry board out so I can show you a little bit of this. This is better than a scratch pad. This is the multi-tool right here. Now, this is 5/16 high. The thickness is 1/4 to 9/32 because it's got a slight taper to it, and the nose is at a 45-degree angle right here. Now, there's no exact science about the nose being at a 45-degree angle. The exact science is, you see that second shape where it's concave? Always learned in school that cave means depressed, like a cave in the ground. Concave right here. You don't want that. That's not a good thing for this tool. You need this section in the back. You need this part behind the tip. And that's going to be your bevel. And the way this tool is used is you rub the bevel and then you initiate the tool. Now you can also do plow cuts straight in like a scraper, straight in like a skew, straight in like a multi-tool, and go straight in to make plow cuts. But it's a very useful tool. That's where the multi comes in at. And you can do some clean little slices, clean up finials and all. And I think I have a YouTube on how to do that. But this tool sharpens rather easily. I want to show you how it's done. All you have to do is watch. Now, as before, the star of this show is the grinder. As always, I have dressed the wheel off, and this runs nice and steady and smooth. There's not a lot of vibration. See? It's just like touching a piece of rough sandpaper. I don't have extremely callous fingers, but there's no bounce. You might be able to hear that. Very little bounce. I trued it up. Now, when I bought this wheel, I digress, when I bought this wheel, it wasn't as solid, wasn't as smooth, wasn't as true. It had a little bit of wobble. When I mounted it, I loosened up these butterfly screws that are put on here, and I like this feature. And I put a little tab of lead tape. It was only about 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch tab of lead tape. You get lead tape at the hardware store. And I'm talking hardware, not home center, girls. You put it in under, it used to be used for plumbing repairs. If they had to wrap a trap or build a base or wipe something down inside of a drain, they use a product called lead tape or lead shield, lead sheet, lead mask. But you need a little piece of lead. Why? Because it's density in copper, brass, and all that per square inch or whatever. The specific density is heavy. You need that. All right. I tucked a little piece, then I turned it on. If the vibration got better, I turned it off and moved it right or left. And I kept moving that little tab until it felt really, really good. And then I knew that this was more balanced than it was before. Now, some manufacturers make this gizmo with all these gadgets and all, but I can tell you, I worked with grinding wheels 50 years ago when I started trade school, and we didn't have gizmos and gadgets, and our grinding wheels ran this true because of lead tape. Now, back to the multi-tool. I've heard it's called a beating tool also, and I've heard it called a revised beat-an. It's a multi-tool. Now, this has got a convex shape to it, which means it rolls over inside and out. I sharpen it by making contact and pulling down until I'm at the tip. Now, until you can get that feel, you may want to block this out with some marks a lot. Down till I get the tip. I'm grinding to the tip. Again, to the tip. Guess what? In a normal day's turning, that's ready. And I spent way too much time on it. I've got an extremely good edge and a little bit of wire on one side and no wire on the other side. So I'll start with the wire up. I'll feel a little burr there, and that's where I'll start when I make my cuts. The wire will go away. Go this way, I'm cutting a straight edge, and I don't get the use of the wire, which is handy. But again, the key is we've blunted it. Boom, boom, boom. It's no good. All right, that's square. I'm using my fingers as the table. Why? Because I can feel better. I feel pretty good, thank you. How you feel? Yeah. That's a very usable edge. Spent way too much time on it. If I was turning, I wouldn't want to be over here. I'd want to be over there. Next, we're going to sharpen the dreaded skew. Yes. Stuff fell apart when I said that. Let's talk about a skew. Yeah, I'm done with those horror stories. The skew cuts because you use it properly and it cuts well. Now, it gets catches because you use it wrong or you try to get aggressive with it. Bottom line. And I've done 5 demos on skews on YouTube. Here's the key. My skew is about 5/16 thick back here. Yours could be thinner. Let's just get away from that's not critical. Okay? That's not a critical dimension. This is a critical number. 25 degrees at the nose. Set your protractor, made by General, a GEN 17 from Home Depot or Lowe's. Set your protractor at 25 degrees. When you set it up, you should want your protractor to read these areas just like that at 25 degrees. Now, the way the skew works and the way we're going to use it, and get this out the way. If this is fatter, if it's 45 degrees, you're going to have a whole lot of beef you don't need out there, and it's going to be hard to work with it. we start with making contact back here. We're going to rub the wood right there. That's rubbing a bevel. And then we're going to twist our wrist until this lines up with the edge of the wood, and we start taking a little shaving out. That's what's going to happen. If it's too fat, we're going to be up at an angle like this, and that's going to make it even harder and shorten that distance. The optimum distance for me and most other turners is, I got to draw this in red, is if this is 25 degrees right here. And then we're going to touch it up with a stone when we get done. But first is the grinding. Now, there are manufacturers that make rigs that go on just like the Blackhawk. And you can take the Blackhawk and do this. And you can grind this. That's the grinding wheel, and it runs in a concave grind on it, and then you point off the tip. The problem I see is your margin of error is greatly increased because your hinge point is from here to here or here to here. Yeah, you have to rub a bevel and then turn on a cut. If you're rubbing way back here and you're going across this and then you turn on a cut, you have a greater chance of larger muscle memory movement or reaction or whatever they call it than you do if you have it closer. Because here you determine that degree. So we're going to sharpen to this grind. And it's really easy to do. And again, it's one of these grinds to where you don't need any special equipment except the ones God gave you. Okay, are you ready for this? Going to go in again. I'm going to shoot for the 25 degrees. I know what mine is. Let's crank it up. We essentially have the same thing. A very true dressed wheel. No bumps, ridges, or rocks on it. Rocks being bumps. Alright. Now, I'm going to go in, I'm going to rub the bevel. Yeah, there's a little bit of a bump there. I'm going to go up, meet the edge. Go back down. I cleaned it up. I look at it every time. Now, why did I do that? The little wiggle at the top? To make sure I get the entire face. In case I have a little bit of a spot that's exposed. I want to get a good smooth grind across there. You see the reflection of it? I want a good even grind all the way across. I'm going to fix this with a stone in a few minutes. Or finish it. I flip the other side. Now over here, I've got my right foot and my left foot over this way. When I flip it over, I can't do this grind unless I take that half a step to my left, because I want my hands to work and the muscle memory to come right back to me. See, it's all in muscle memory. And I get a good, beautiful grind. I take a step back. I don't need a tool rest. I don't need a grind. I don't need anything to hold. I'm touching up with an 80 grit wheel. 80 grit wheel. I don't need a whole lot of stuff back here. All I'm doing is touching up a grind. Now, we're going to hone it. That's important. To hone this tool, I'm using a DMT red, which I think is fine. I think there's one above it, or even finer. 2" by 6" diamond embed stone. This is available at your home center. Buy it from your local hardware. They need the business. Okay. Now, to do this, I could leave it right here, get down here and hone off that tip and make it straight and polish it up. But I'm 62 years old. I'm a kid to some of you guys. And to some of you guys, I'm an old fart. Well, all my grandkids and all, that's what I am. But down here doesn't work for me. I don't feel it, I don't see it. Now let me tell you, I've caught more hell over this than anything else I've ever shown on YouTube. Because there's a lot of old-time skew guys who say, I never had a problem doing it, been doing like that 30 years or whatever. Well, God blessed you with a good muscle memory and a good sense of feel. or you're used to dull tools. But I didn't get that blessing. So what I do is use what else he gave me. Don't do that too often. The noggin. Now, to do that, when I'm at my lathe, I'll put it up on the tool rest where it won't move. I'm here and I got a little sliding going on. So I'm going to say I take a pad, be a piece of paper towel, I don't care, and I put it right here where I can see it. Now what I want to fix is right there. What I want to do is hone that edge and take that wire off both sides, a little bit of a grind, and polish it down to where it's slick and ready to go. And I do that by looking right down, taking this stone and passing it right down as I'm looking at it. I'm going to rub the bevel behind it, and as I go down I'm going to bring the stone, just twist it a little bit in my hand, just like that, and bring it down to turn it on. Can we get close and you can see me do it? Okay. Just like that. Now, you see the muscle memory, it goes into effect. Now, I do it. Now, what do I do now? Were you watching? That was the secret move. Hit rewind. The muscle memory was in effect. I know where I'm going. I don't need to be all that in and out and stuff. Flip it around. Secret move again. Now, I've kill my grandchildren for saying talking like that. I've spent about twice as much time touching this up as I need to. Now get it. I ground this, but then I touched it up. Then I went over and used it to plane something and knock the corners off. Or finished up a finial, or did some detail work. And I decided I need to do a little more on it. Guess what I do? Not the grinder. No, I don't need to grind it. Right back up on top of the tool post again. Go back to cutting. And I spent too much time that time too. Once you get to where you understand what's going to happen, when it happens, you will clean that edge, roll it in, and create a nice, true, nice. It's an ellipse. It's a line, but it's something you can work with. Remember, you're going to pick the spot on here that you want to rub the bevel on. You're going to pick this, one of these spots to rub the bevel on, and then you're going to turn your wrist slightly and turn on the cutter. It's just like a block plane. Just like a block plane. You have to have a ground, and then you initiate the cutter. Nice slice. And by the way, if you want to learn how to use this tool, don't chuck up any wood you want to keep. Chuck up something ugly, hard, miserable, something somebody threw away. A broomstick is good. Practice with that. If you tell me, I tried this in the room, I don't want to hear about it. Because you're practice with junk. Trash, because when you get to the good stuff, you'll be really, really good. Right now. That is the skew. I don't know why you're scared of it, but get over it. Next, we're going to do a little scraping. But once the tool's to the right shape, with the right jigs and the right templates, you can touch them up that fast and go right back to what you want to be doing, and that's turning wood. You waste less tools, and it comes out a whole lot better. Hope that helped you out today. I have more. Next time we're going to do some parting tools and some other specialty tools. It's all because I love making shavings. I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. You take care now.